Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Coaxium Cantina. I'm Benjamin,
And I made him.
and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about doing a movie review for the Phantom Menace. I was about to say giving our general thoughts for the Phantom Menace. It's the same thing, but yeah, we're just gonna be talking about the Phantom Menace. I've really struggled with words today, so
We'll take our
apologies
time.
if I mean, it's no different really. But Adam, The Phantom Menace, Episode 1 of Star Wars. Off you go.
Well, for me, Phantom Menace is probably one of the lower down films
I
on my
agree.
list when it comes to Star Wars films. For me personally, the only exciting bit of the film was the end fight scene between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul.
Yeah.
I think I like that scene as well because it's not just an obvious lightsaber fight. It's the first time we're introduced to a double-bladed lightsaber,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that in itself is very iconic. So it definitely does bring a bit of
Yeah.
respect to the film, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are definitely some good bits. When the Phantom Menace is at its best, aka the pod racing scene and Duel of the Fates, as you just said, I think that those two scenes are up there with the best scenes of Star Wars in general.
Mm.
Obviously, John Williams with his Duel of the Fates score just makes it that much more insane.
Mm.
And the double bladed lightsaber, while it's maybe a bit overused now, with
Yeah,
the
by today's
with the
standards, it's
whole,
overused.
let's stick as many lightsabers on a villain as we can. That makes him more menacing. Um, that's not a dig at General Grievous, by the way. That's a dig at the Grand Inquisitors. I love General Grievous. Leave him alone. But yeah, um, I think it's just that when you think of the Phantom Menace, I think the first scene I think of is the opening doors with the shun dun. I can't finish the rest due to copyright.
Yeah.
And he just activates one because obviously you only see him fight with one against Qui-Gon on Tatooine,
Yeah.
and then you just see him activate another one. And now, me and Aiden are not of the age where we saw this in the cinema.
I wish.
The first film we saw in the cinema was The Force Awakens, or I think
Yes.
for me it was anyway. I would
For
imagine you.
For me, it was as well.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't see the prime of Star Wars really in the cinema, but I can only imagine what it would have been like to see a double-bladed lightsaber.
And that's the problem as well, because it has been done to death in this day and age. Like, you watch that scene now, and it's still awesome.
Yeah.
But if anything, it's a throwaway moment. You're just there like, right, Maul's lightsaber's on, let's go.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it that many times.
Yeah.
But when you first see it, you're like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
lightsabers can do that?
Yeah.
There are those kinds of lightsabers?
Mm-hmm.
And there's just not that anymore.
I mean, I'm going to refer to this a lot in this movie review little series that we're doing. But I think depending on your age and your age group and what year you were born, heavily depends on what films you prefer.
Mm.
I think it's if you were the original person that watched the 1977 films, you can understand why maybe you don't like the prequels and the sequels. If you grew up with the sequels, you might, like it more than the originals because the originals may be a bit outdated now and I mean, they're not by any means outdated, but they don't look as good as blah blah.
Mm.
But and there are certain scenes in this, especially the scene where the tanks come over the hill, that looks horrible.
God
And I
awful.
mean horrible. Even on Blu-ray, it just looks horrible. I haven't actually watched The Phantom Menace on Disney Plus because I think that's the most recent release of it, and I'm not sure whether they fixed it or not. But Christ Almighty!
I wonder how it was regarded then, because they obviously CGI was something
Well, The Phantom
like
Menace. The Phantom Menace. I'm this is part of my EPQ project I'm doing about Star Wars, obviously. But The Phantom Menace was the first feature film to be shot half digitally.
yeah.
So they were still working out the ironing out the creases. That's what I'm trying to say. And our beloved Jar Jar is the first character in a feature length film to be entirely CGI. So there you go.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're not going to do the Phantom Menace without talking about our beloved Jar Jar.
I mean,
What are
I
your
could quite
opinions
happily.
on Jar Jar?
um, I mean,
I actually genuinely
Jar
don't
Jar's.
know your opinions on Jar Jar, so I'm interested to hear.
I don't know. Jar Jar has always been a weird one for me. I have hated him um many times. There are some where I think he does actually like make sense within plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, the moment where his character is brought into Clone Wars is where he becomes might as well be Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Just like that's where my hatred comes from. Just the blatant mass murder committed by him that's pawned off as a funny moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mind Jar Jar in the film to begin with.
Uh,
Obviously, I was a child growing up watching The Phantom
yeah,
Menace. Jar Jar is for children, hence why your age has a massive difference about what you think about each Star Wars film.
mm,
So to start
yeah,
with, I didn't really mind him. I Even in the Clone Wars, I didn't mind him because again, I was a child growing up with it.
yeah.
However, Jar Jar is probably the one thing that the Clone Wars made worse. Again,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
when I watch the movies now-ish, or before I rewatched the Clone Wars this time around, even when I watch the movies, I didn't mind them. I
Mm,
could see why people dislike him, but I didn't
yeah.
mind him. But after watching the Clone Wars, I dislike him so
An
much.
unholy anger.
Yeah, I mean, to bring such iconic quotes as "Excuse me, but the most safest place is Gunga City. It's where
I
I grew up.
mean,
It is a hidden city."
one of the things that I remembered from the Clone Wars was the episode where Hondo captures Obi, Anakin, and Dooku,
Mm-hmm.
and Jar Jar is sent with another senator to negotiate their release.
And he kills the senator, and just everything's
Yeah,
yeah.
but he does it in a way where he's intentionally blocking the pilot's view
Mm-hmm.
and then is also responsible for the senator being out of their seat or not fastened
Yeah,
in properly. And it's done as a goofy moment.
yeah,
It's unbelievable.
yeah. That was not great.
No.
Speaking about the Clone Wars, the one issue I have with uh, this film in general and the prequels is I feel like it was too slow. And
Yeah,
this film is largely
about
irrelevant.
politics.
Yeah, irrelevant. this, when in the larger story of Star Wars, this film adds nothing.
I suppose it's necessary because it's the introduction of one of the most feared villains in film history.
But we don't need to. I mean, like, one of my friends said to me the other day was, one of the reasons Darth Vader was so menacing was because there was a mystery about him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Anakin, you have to have Anakin in the prequels, but at the same time, you don't have to tell us everything about Anakin. Like,
yeah.
i.e., where, how he grew up. But also, at the same time, I understand why they did it, because obviously the Tusken Raider plotline led to later plot lines, and obviously you need to see the connection with his mother and blah blah blah. But I think that Anakin should have been a teenager at least, or matched, if not close to, Padme's age, because that creates a massive plot hole in terms of Padme being a weirdo.
yeah, it's not even a plot hole for a story sense. It's a plot hole with FBI open up.
Yeah, I have my character ages saved, so I'm looking right now at the character ages. So Anakin,
it's a good index.
Anakin, in episode 1 is 9 years old, and Padme, I think, was 19. Oh no, she was 14. Which is 5 years difference.
Right.
I could have sworn she was 19.
I was pretty certain she was 14.
Oh. Just me then. But that's still, I mean, that's not as bad as I thought, but that's still not great.
I think the weird thing about it is that the film kind of makes it as she's a motherly figure. And then Attack of the Clones is like, oh, I see what you're going for here.
We're going there, aren't we?
Yeah. So we're going to change it here.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a very weird start to Luke and Leia's birth.
Yeah. I think the other criticism I have with it, this movie, is, and this is more the prequels in general, being just too slow. And that is, I feel like the Clone Wars should have started at the end of this episode. This movie. I feel like if we got this movie, the Jedi Battle and the Clone Wars at the end, right? And then you have episode 2 being the Clone Wars but in live action.
Yeah.
You can still have the Clone Wars TV show, but have, I don't know, 3 seasons of it before episode 2 and then 4 seasons of it after episode.
A bit more like in between context.
So you can still have Anakin growing up and, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have episode 3, which is the climax of the Clone Wars. I just feel like there's no, there's nothing that develops the plot of Star Wars in this film.
Yeah. I mean,
if you watched Star Wars without the Phantom Menace, I would say there would be maybe 1 or 2 scenes where you'd be like, hold on a minute, I don't really get that.
Yeah, but the big contributors were 2 and 3.
Yeah. If you didn't watch episode 2, then you would have missed out a massive chunk of Anakin, a massive chunk of Obi-Wan, and literally the entire Jedi Order, basically. You'd be a bit confused coming into episode 3. But episode 1, you can kind of not watch in many ways. Also, this is a kids' film, and it's about taxation of trade routes and politics.
Yeah, no, that's obviously a very popular topic to cover in films.
I've been doing a lot of research on the politics of Star Wars for my Much to Learn series. Link somewhere.
Shameless plug.
But I don't even understand most of it. I had to like properly read it like 3 or 4 times to work out just what the taxation of trade routes meant, and what the trade routes were. So how this is a kids' film. 1 minute, it's more of an issue with the tone of the film. 1 minute they're talking about the taxation of trade routes, and another minute Jar Jar's making a fart joke. It's like one or the other. One or the other.
It's a bit difficult to follow.
It is.
I say a bit.
And it's like Newt Gunray is trying to get a 14-year-old to sign a treaty.
A 14-year-old who's like a queen, by the way, and is like completely knowledgeable of everything and doesn't even really refer to her advisors.
There is no way that she is 14 in The Phantom Menace. I'm sorry. I understand that the whole point of the thing was, she was a queen at a young age, but 14. 14! That's like, she was telling Qui-Gon what to do at 14.
You have a queen, and you have a Jedi Master.
She is running a planet in the Senate. She's not in the Senate, actually, at this point. She's running a planet.
I mean, she was bloody talking to the Senate anyway.
My God.
I mean...
I honestly thought that she was more like 19. And I'm sorry, but you can see why.
Yeah.
There is no way that she is 14 in that film. Another thing, though, is the character Qui-Gon is completely wasted. And what I mean by that is his role should have just been completely swapped with Obi-Wan. Not his death, but his role on Tatooine. So Obi-Wan, this actually helps the Anakin teenager plot as well. Obi-Wan, who is going to be Anakin's master, right? He's going to be Anakin's brother, right? Eventually. Why have Obi-Wan Kenobi, the character that you know is going to be most important in Anakin's life compared to Qui-Gon, why have him stuck on a ship for the entire episode, for the entire film? And then Qui-Gon gets so much character development, and that's all right. And then he dies. Now, why? I understand that you got to have character development to make the death seem, sad.
Yeah, actually significant.
But why was Obi-Wan stuck on the ship? If Anakin was more Padme's age, and Obi-Wan was a little bit older, then you could start to get the connection going between Anakin and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
And you can even start to get the connection between Anakin and Qui-Gon as well. But as a child, it's just not believable.
No.
And I don't want to criticize. I don't want to criticize, the actor for Anakin, because obviously, you can only do so much with the script that you're given and the film that you're in. No, actually, this isn't a criticism of the actor at all. what is the dialogue?
Ah, there it is, that keyword dialogue.
Honestly, I love George Lucas. I love him so much. I hope that he never goes near a screenplay again.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it has bought memes and all of the stuff, the dialogue is so bad in some of these films that it's just accepted.
Yeah. It's just like, sure, why not?
This is pod racing. Now, this is pod racing. Is a
what
general.
do you mean like that?
Is a genuine thing Anakin says in the middle of a war zone.
After murdering, actually. Oh no, to be fair, that was the Separatists, so it was mainly droids on that ship. But there were a couple of people there.
I mean, right, in fairness, this is not the worst film for dialogue, but there are some scenes that is just, ouch, that is not good dialogue.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the Palpatine stuff was done quite well in that film.
Oh yeah,
like showing how
and
elusive.
Darth Maul was underused as well.
100%. I feel like the Sith elements were probably the more enjoyable parts, and that was, funnily enough, the bit we got the less of, because it was too heavy on politics. You literally have a franchise based around beings with supernatural abilities with laser swords, and you decide to talk about essentially toll costs.
Yeah.
I mean, the priorities are just not.
I don't understand how you can make a film for kids but make it about politics. I mean, I enjoy some of the politics in there. Like, well, enjoy is a bit of a stretch, but I like the idea to see how it all works, you know.
Yeah.
Or I like the idea of, you know, trying to manage a war or something like that. But in a kids' film, I'm not sure that episode 1 is. I'm not sure it was right for kids. Like they should have. I think that they should have gone more adult rather than kids. But
yeah.
They kind of couldn't decide which one, so they just put both. Is what it felt like, which doesn't work.
I think it would have definitely. God, I can't speak. It would have definitely paid more to have, not the politics in it. just as simple as that. It would have been a much more successful film if you had something like just, I don't know, maybe Anakin going to the temple straight away, like Tatooine being the first thing they go to, and then having like Maul hunt them across the galaxy or something, because he's described and known as like a vicious hunter.
Yeah.
So that would have provided us with loads of fight scenes, loads of action, a show of both Maul, Obi, and Qui-Gon's skill a bit more. And then, I don't know, maybe Qui-Gon's death at the end would have been a way of showing that Maul had actually, like, learned how, I don't know, Qui-Gon fought, and it was surprising that he was able to, I don't know, sabotage how he fights. I don't know. There's just so much more that could have been done.
Yeah.
Than just politics.
But the pod racing scene was good.
The pod racing scene was good,
And
and plus that led to
it led to one of the greatest Lego Star Wars, actually one of the greatest Lego in general levels
great
to
minds think
exist.
alike.
The Boonta Eve Classic. What a level! If you've completed that first time, let me know, and you can join the ranks of people like me, who is
Oh.
an absolute veteran, without bragging. But
No, that wasn't bragging at all.
also, I think I touched on this earlier. I'm pretty sure I have short-term memory loss, so I don't know what I'm talking about. John Williams' score. That's all I need to say on that.
Yeah, no, he always nails it, no matter
He does.
what film he's in, no matter the story, the characters, the acting, dialogue, whatever. He always nails it.
I think for a lot of, well, no, probably for all, but for a lot of them, that might be the only, not a lot of them, a few of them, a couple of them, might be the only positive we give the film. So you might hear that if you're going to watch this, if you're going to keep on watching these movie reviews, get a seatbelt on for that. Strap in for a lot of John Williams' score. Because let's be honest, whenever John Williams scores a film, it's one of the best bits about the film.
It's true. It's definitely true.
Even with Jurassic Park and E.T., and that's all I can think of that John Williams does, but I'm probably missing a load more.
Yeah.
Just the score makes it a million times better.
It's just done Jones. So well.
I think that was him. Yeah, it was him. Anyway, guys,
it's just
leave your thoughts on the Phantom Menace. Aiden, do you have anything else to say?
Other than I wish this film was better.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Well, depending on what sort of Star Wars news comes out next week, we have a fun Attack of the Clones movie review coming next time.
Woo!
Yeah, let's leave your thoughts on the Phantom Menace, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.